Hi guys, this is Aysha and you're watching Mooting Society's interview series where we invite some of the best legal professions in this region. And today we have Mr. Adam. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me a bit about yourself and your career background as well as your position here at Simmons & Simmons as a managing associate?
With pleasure. So I moved to the Middle East in 2016. Prior to that I was practicing as a barrister in London for the 4 years preceding that. Since moving to Dubai, I've specialised in a range of financial crime and financial services regulatory matters, which has meant my work has spanned the whole of the Gulf Cooperation Council states during that time.
That's really great. So before we move into the actual set of questions, I would like to ask, so having worked here in the Middle East as well as back in London, which one would you say is your favourite place?
It's a really good question. I think Dubai and London specifically are two of the best cities in the world. I think they are head and shoulders above many cities because the breadth of nationalities and cultures, cuisines that you have available in both. They're both international cities, which I love. The weather's better in Dubai, the weather's better in the Middle East. This is a really exciting time to be in the Middle East now. The eyes of the world seem to be on the UAE specifically, on Saudi Arabia. So I think at the moment, there's nowhere better to be.
That's really great. So moving on, so given your experience in the financial crime sector, can you give us an idea about what it actually is and what generally goes around in that sector?
Yes, of course, with pleasure. So it covers anything from anti-bribery legislation, anti-money laundering, sanctions work. It can be both contentious and non-contentious. Non-contentious means helping with compliance frameworks, advisory mandates relating to internal structuring, or potentially for acquisition of new companies. The contentious sector can be a criminal investigation. It can be a regulatory investigation. It can cover a wide range of matters with both federal or local authorities.
That's really nice. So could you tell me about what experiences or factors influenced you into pursuing this as your expertise law?
So for me, I think you need to find a profession that you love, that you really enjoy the subject matter, because as lawyers we work long hours, we work hard, but also we need to feel like we're doing something to benefit society, benefit those around us, and I think you need to have a passion for what you're doing. So what drove me into financial crime was a mixture of factors. It was, I liked the international nature of work. I have got a background working in criminal law matters, so it was an easy transition for that. And also I find it quite fun. It's exciting. You often see the work that we're doing on news headlines and the like, so I find that really good.
That's really nice. So could you tell me more about how, for law students who are aspiring to specialize in financial crime, especially after watching this interview, could you give them about a little bit tips on how they can, hone their educational skills over here, especially in the Middle East?
Okay, so first of all, I think they should all watch Ozark, the TV series, because that really touches on everything to do with money laundering, and then you can really understand the different processes of it, and also brings things off the page. When you're a student, you're reading so much, it can often seem quite dry. And I always say important to try and look what you're doing in your textbooks and then think about it in real life, because then it makes it more interesting. But importantly, in going forward, lawyers are expected to be business partners, commercial partners. That we are humans. We're not just lawyers behind glass anymore. So you need to have an interest in what your clients are doing, what's happening in the world around. So reading newspapers, making sure you're up to date on current events is really important.
Definitely, yeah. So what about the key differences that you've noticed while working here in the Middle East as well as in London, while through your cases, specifically to the financial crime? Can you give us an example of it as such?
So the main difference I would see between working in financial crime in the Middle East and working in financial crime in the UK is the involvement of the complainant or the victim of crime. So the way that it works under the civil law jurisdiction in the UAE is that the complainant has standing before the authorities. So what that means, the victim or the complainant must be very proactive in the prosecution process, in the regulatory process. They are heavily involved in the collation of evidence and material to make a complaint to the authorities. In the common law system, the prosecution is brought by the authorities themselves, so they drive more of that stage of the process. So that, I would suggest, is the main differentiator.
Okay, that's really nice. And given your background as a barrister back in London, how do you think that experience has shaped you as a lawyer throughout this whole journey?
For me, being a barrister was great because it meant that I had real independence and accountability for the work I was doing. When you are working on your own, you're in court or you're with a client, there's no one to hide behind. So you have to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, it is your mistake. If you are successful, it's your success.
Yeah.
So that means you've got a lot of responsibility very early on in your career, and that's helped me. In the Middle East, we're very fortunate because at a more junior stage of your career, you're given more responsibility than you perhaps would be if you were working in the US or the UK. So I think that's helped me to understand that level of responsibility.
Definitely. And oftentimes students really find it difficult to choose path between solicitor or barrister. How do you think we can tackle that and choose the path which is right for us?
You are at a period of your careers where you've effectively got two roads to go down. It's either solicitor or it's a barrister, if those are the two routes, the traditional routes that you are looking at. I think each role has its benefits and has its detractors. One role is better for some people, one role is better for others. I would encourage everyone to get as much experience as they can, because if you're going to be successful at a job, you will want to be making sure you're in the right job for long term. So get experience in both. If you can't go and do a pupillage because of where we are in the world, perhaps watch some TV series on it, read around the subject, see if it's right. For solicitor route, get as much experience, internships as you can, speak to lawyers, even if it's not an internship, get involved, speak to them, find out what they think about their profession, what they like, what they don't like, and then make the choice. For me, I always wanted to be a barrister, so it was clear for me.
Definitely. So do you think if you could go back, you would choose the path as a solicitor maybe at any point?
No, only because I know my choice to be a barrister has led me to where I am speaking to you today. And I'm proud of the opportunities I've been given and the work that I do now, and it's all led to here, so no regrets.
That's really nice. That's really nice to hear. So if you could give one tip to the aspiring barristers right now, especially the young lawyers, what would you say to them?
Don't give up. I think, if you get knocked down 8 times, you get up 9 times. Every successful person that you will meet will have had numerous failings, and it's difficult when you're starting out in your career, you're a student, and you don't get a response from a job application, you don't hear back after an interview, you start to question yourself. It's natural, we're humans, and you think it'll never work for me, or I just won't get the job. As soon as you give in to those thoughts, you won't get the job because you'll stop applying. But if you don't give up and you keep trying, then it will work out.
Definitely. I think that's something that every law student should really kind of adhere to it. So also, what about your schedule at Simmons & Simmons? Because we know it's an extensive experience for you, I understand that. So how do you manage your schedule with everything around?
So it's very important, time management, for all lawyers, whatever field of practice they are in. You need to prioritise. You need to realise what work you can do yourself, what you need to delegate to others, and you need to be able to manage client expectations. So it's just constantly checking in with yourself. Where am I? What work have I got to do? Am I keeping everyone around me informed about what I need to do? It's difficult because we're all humans. We've got personal lives outside as well, and we just need to make sure that we're constantly recalibrating our work and our home lives.
Definitely. And I think we all have our own struggles as well, no matter where we are at our life. So can you share me some of your struggle that you still deal with at this point?
So for me, my biggest struggle at the moment is trying to manage those workloads, whether it be bringing new clients to the firm, maintaining the clients that we have, continuing my professional development, keeping my family happy, trying to keep fit. There's not enough hours in the day for all of it, and that's a constant fight, but it's a good fight to have, because I know some people don't have the they don't have the ability to have those problems. They would love to get that job, so it's a case of just being grateful for where you are and working hard.
And touching upon that, and this is the last question for our day, so I'll let you go after that. So we know that the journey from dreaming of what you want to be and then getting to the point where actually everything happens, it's a very significant stretch. So could you tell me about what really kept you going on through all of those years, and maybe an advice to all the young generations out there for aspiring to be as good as you are?
We do a lot of work in the mental health space, and I think my advice on this is probably not the best, but I'll say the thing that drove me was fear. I was scared of not having a job. I was scared of losing a job, and that's not a healthy one. I think you need to find a drive. For me, it's always been I want to make sure I can put food on the table for the family, that be comfortable in older age, that I can look after those around me, and so I've been driven by fear for a lot of it. But I do love what I do, and I think that's the main driver now.
That's really nice. So last question, just a little bit more fun one. If you could choose another expertise to specialize on, which one would it be in law?
In law? In law, it would probably be sports law.
Okay.
Because I'd like to be able to travel and watch all the best sports events and call it work. So I think probably sports law, or alternatively back to litigation, so in court advocacy on a day-to-day basis.
That's really nice. So what about a different profession altogether? What would it be?
Different profession, probably professional golfer. I think I used to be a professional rugby player or a professional footballer. Now I'm getting older. I think that the slower lifestyle of the golf and the travel would be nice.
And that's really nice. So one last thing. What's one piece of advice that you give it to every law student? One piece.
Believe in yourself, I think. Because no one else will believe in you in the same way that you should believe in yourself. It goes back to the point about not giving up, because you have to be the one driving yourself forward. You're the one that will ultimately have the benefits from it. You'll be the one ultimately that if you don't make it, you'll be the one beating yourself up about it. So believe in yourself, because you've got every right to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam. It's been an honor being with you here today.
Likewise.
And learning more about financial crime, which is not really much known around here, especially within our students. So thank you so much for your time today.
It's good to speak to you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Cheers.